Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director, with my co-host Tate Mathews. Tate, heading down the home stretch in basketball and wrestling, and bowling just wrapped up. Tell us about your boy that you trained as a young athlete from Brentwood High School and how he did this week.
Yes, young protege Coleman Bryant. Hey, and was a really good baseball player, by the way, too. But third place in the state bowling tournament. I mean, that's pretty strong right there, brother. So congratulations to him. I know his grandfather is very proud of him. But that's big, man. Lost to the eventual state champion. No shame in that. Great performance.
And before we talk more about Coleman, congratulations also to Centennial's Frankie Negron. He finished 14 pins out of the top 6. On the girls' side, Brentwood, Molly Austin, and Franklin's Maddie Ludwig also made the state tournament. So that getting in the top 6, what happens is they bowl 3 or 4 games, and then they have the top 6, their scores. Coleman was actually second, and he had to wait on the winner of the 3-6 match.
Wow.
And in talking to Coach Popovich, he was saying that really it may have been an advantage to be in the 3-6 or 4-5 just so you can get used to the lanes.
I did not know that. That's pretty neat, though. Makes sense.
But you don't get tired bowling. Do you think you get tired bowling?
I might. I don't think they do. I hope they don't. But, hey, it's like I'm not a golfer, you are, but they say it's an advantage.
I'm a golfer, it's very loosely used.
You watch golf. It's advantageous to know the course, right? So I can see that. That's pretty neat. Maybe that's our problem. We need to bowl at King's Bowl a little bit more and have a better understanding of the lanes. So it's pretty neat, though, man. Good for him. Hey, we have the Joins gyms. I've got a tidbit.
Tate's tidbit.
Who was the state champion? Who won it?
Probably some guy from Hardin Valley.
No, the team. Who won the team?
It's probably Hardin Valley,
Hardin
right?
County. Do you know
the one that does the recruiting? We talked about that last week.
Do you know
fourth
how many they've won in a row?
6 or 7.
This is their 7th state bowling championship in a row. And I know somebody from there. I did a little research on this. I'm serious. They have elementary bowling leagues. They start them young, brother. This isn't a fluke. Yeah, bowling's a big deal.
I'm more impressed with you doing the research than I am the actual tidbit.
I take my craft.
Tate's tidbit. Okay, let's talk wrestling. Congratulations to Fairview. They were the region duels champions, 64-16 over Millington.
By the way, that in wrestling terms is Popcorn City.
Blowout.
And boat race.
I'm telling you, no pressure. We're going to see some kind of team championship from Fairview Wrestling this year.
Wow.
I believe that would be their first team championship ever, right? When they get one. Yeah. Obviously in cross country, this year Andrea was the cross country champion, so that would be pretty cool to have another state championship this year, and I think they're going to do it. I really do. Some district duels matches: Centennial over Franklin, Brentwood over Ravenwood, Indy over Summit. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty in wrestling. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be talking a lot about wrestling.
Well, the district duels will be held this week. Page and Centennial, Independence, and Brentwood.
Wow.
It's kind of like volleyball. The winner of those 2 matches will wrestle for the district championship. Then they're going to go on to regions. They're both going more than likely to advance. So if you can just get through the district tournament, better than 50%, better than 75, 80% chance you're going to end up in the state duels.
Like so many sports in WCS, if you can just get out of your own league,
that's right,
then you can advance. Definitely one of those situations in wrestling.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk basketball. Girls standings real quickly. Brentwood in first at 9-0, Page in second at 8-1, Dixon 7-2 in third. Then we go Indy 4th, Ravenwood 5th, Summit 6th, Spring Hill, Franklin, and Centennial bringing up the rear. Now, let's talk about our first game. This was a shock to me in terms of the score. Brentwood girls go over to Dixon County. And if Dixon wins that game, we've got a 3-way tie for first. So I thought it would be nail-biter. Pretty close in the first half. Brentwood wins on the road, 15 wins in a row, 63-42. The train keeps rolling.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show the gap is big. These aren't fluke wins. This is a 2-horse race. We'll find out if Page can do it or not. But Brentwood's really good, man. I mean, that's a tail kicking. Indy looked like they were up there in the stratosphere, right? You saw what Brentwood did to them. They're really good. A really smart man about 2 months ago said, book it. They're going to Murfreesboro. That prediction is looking more and more likely. Brentwood's really good. Delaney Truschel got her 1,000th point.
Yep.
Now they have 3,000-point scores on that team. And the thing I think is pretty cool, I've been reading their box scores. We know about Osgood. We know about the Truschels. You're starting to see Lorenzi get 10. They're deep. They're good.
10 assists for Osgood in that game. So they're so willing to pass the ball to one another, which I think is big too.
Sign of a good team.
By the way, Brentwood in the latest state polls ranked number 4. So again, that train keeps rolling. Tate, and I don't even know how this works, Mr. Producer, on TV. I may have this backwards. What does that number mean to you? Is it backwards? 18.
18 in a row games is what they're going to close out undefeated in the district.
Brentwood boys and girls are 18-0 in district play.
Oh, that's strong. Really strong.
Unbelievable. All right, let's talk about our WCTV game of the week on the girls' side. Ravenwood 56, Franklin 32. Ravenwood, good bounce back. They had a close loss to Independence on Tuesday night. That's two teams that are very similar. In fact, if the season ended now, Indy and Ravenwood would play in the first round. They bounced back, though. Reagan Grimes 16, Lexi Erickson 12. Only one Franklin field goal in the fourth quarter. So having a little bit of a hard time putting the ball in the hole are the Lady Rebels.
Yep. 32 points. Kate O'Neill had half of them. So going to be tough to win like that. But you're right. When they're just not falling sometimes, especially when you're struggling to score points, when they're just not falling sometimes, you have some of those quarters. And as a coach, you know, what do you, in your early Beach days, you probably had some quarters like that.
3-21 year one, that one.
Yeah. What do you say? Keep shooting?
Coach Scott, who the floor was just named after at Beach, the late Coach Scott, great coach out there, told me, he said, when you're getting dominated like that, don't get up and make a fuss. Don't call a bunch of timeouts. Slide down in your chair, hope no one notices you, and get the game over with.
Get it to zeros.
Great advice for you young coaches out there.
That's right.
Get it over with. All right, Page, 75, Independence 40. Again, a game that surprised me in terms of domination. Didn't expect a running clock there. Page ranked number 10 in the state poll, and I believe I said this early on too. Page is another team heading to the Glass House.
That would be unbelievable.
It would be great.
I don't know. Have we ever had two women's teams?
Not that I'm familiar with,
I don't
because
think
for
so.
so long it was the Ronnie Sigenthaler League.
That's right.
I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
At Brentwood High School, and I give him credit really in a lot of ways for maybe making the importance on girls basketball here. He was smart enough to play a lot of games outside the league then, not needed now.
No. His arch rival back then was Hillsboro, and Jeanette Carter, whoever won that one, was going to be district champions every year. But, yeah, Page, I can't wait for this second round of Page Brentwood and, you know, Lily Wilkin, 34 points, 17 in the first quarter.
Incredible.
That really is. That really is. And then No had 22 points. I think 4 threes, 5 threes.
That's right.
That's the thing. I need to quit saying it because it's been like that for a while. But the 3-point shooting in the ladies' game is just
Really gone up.
It's changed the game, man. That's why you see 75 points out of Page, 63 points out of Brentwood. That didn't used to happen. They can fill it up.
I'm at a freshman game this week out at Page, and when the game ended, here comes Delaney No.
To shoot?
To shoot.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. You know, there's really no secret in becoming a great shooter. You got to shoot it.
Right. I see the
It's just hard work.
Mr. Glover and Mr. Kemp. Anytime I go over to Franklin,
Evan Segler.
that's who's in there shooting.
Those guys always shot the ball a lot. Jordan Bruce, some of those guys too. Independence had that big win on Tuesday night over Ravenwood, 45-31. Now 2 wins over Ravenwood, which will be a big deal for Indy if there's some kind of tie.
Correct.
So it's looking like no worse than 4th for Independence. I know Coach Glazner was in here a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, we'd love to be 3rd, but you have to think, if you could have told him you're playing a first-round district game at home, will you take it, sir? I think he would have signed in blood. Yes,
Yes,
I'll
I will take that deal. Yeah.
So
Well,
great
and you know, like you said, I mean, the jump they've made this year is the biggest jump of anybody, you know, in here. But you look at those first three, the three that are, if he finishes fourth, and then you look at the three above him, you got to be pretty dang proud of that.
No doubt. Summit, big bounce back for them, 65-43 win over Spring Hill on Tuesday. They had a bye, or excuse me, that was Friday. They had a bye on Tuesday, so now they're rested. Big week this week, hosting Centennial, which I expect they'll win. But then at Brentwood on Friday, as they get healthier, look for, I know we keep saying it, don't let us down, Coach Wild. We're talking about you like you're coaching royalty. You've got to win some of these games, and I think they will.
I think they will too. And you know, kind of like we were talking about Whitlock last week, everybody in the district tournament knows that. Nobody's looking real forward to a healthy Summit with the Wolfman having 4 days to game plan for you. It's not real good.
He'll be out at some remote meeting 3.
That's right.
Making his plans before the game.
With his reading glasses.
All right, let's go over and look at the boys' side. Brentwood, and we'll talk about that Dixon game. Both teams came in at 8-0. Brentwood gets a big win. They're now 9-0 in the league. Dixon County second, 8-1, and there's a little bit of a gap there.
Yeah.
Third place is a full 2 games behind. Summit at 6-3, and then it gets real interesting. Centennial, fourth right now at 5-4. Franklin at 5-5. Independence Page, both at 3-6. And Ravenwood, fresh off a win over Franklin, at 3-7. How would you like to be the number 1 seed and you potentially get Ravenwood in an elimination game?
For sure. I think come tournament time, any team on there, except for maybe Spring Hill, probably Spring Hill.
Spring Hill.
The rest of them, every single one of them can beat the other one.
I agree.
Period.
I agree. Let's talk about that Brentwood game. They go to Dixon, and they have something there they call basketball week. I mean, they really get into their school there.
They do.
So this is a big lead up to this particular game. I don't know if it's coming home or whatever they're doing. So it's big crowd, girls game, big crowd. Those were big games. Brentwood rolls 63-42. You move to the boys game, triple overtime, epic game, 70-67 over Dixon County. Dixon was also coming in ranked 8th in the state. Now, here's not a tidbit, but a gem. Dixon County only led 2-0.
2-0.
You go to triple overtime, you would think the only lead they had was 2-0. Brentwood goes on a 12-0 run to take the lead 12-2, and Dixon just had to battle back all night.
They did. I can't tell you how many people, both from Dixon and Brentwood, have texted me. Best high school game in this district, which I know you take. You could probably pick a few, but best high school game this district's seen in a long time, maybe ever. So yeah, that really is. I thought that was probably the coolest stat. Led 2-0 and then never led again, and he goes to triple overtime. But
amazing.
You know, what can you say about this Brentwood High team, man? They keep finding ways to win. And I meant to say this to Coach Shirley. You've said this 3 or 4 times.
By the way, 300th win earlier in the week with the win at Franklin.
And
it's got to be a little sweeter, let's admit,
for
winning
sure
at Franklin.
For sure. And 100th.
Yep, got that a couple weeks
at
ago.
Wilco.
That's right.
I mean, or at Brentwood. So, but you've said it 3 or 4 times. They just believe they're going to win, man. And triple overtime against a really good Dixon County team. You know, I think Dixon's only losses were
MBA, and now Brentwood. And the only loss at home.
That's right.
And you know, it's interesting when you talk to coaches around the league, they keep expecting Brentwood to fall. Here's a couple of things that stood out to me. 10-2, 10 wins, 2 losses in games decided by 8 points or less. Here's another thing that stood out, and I've been on the Brentwood bandwagon really the whole year once I watched them play because their chemistry's so great. It is. But Windley's the glue, right?
Right.
He's the veteran. He's the glue. He fouls out in overtime number 1. So you ask yourself and ask the viewers out there, anybody else, if you would have said it's going to be triple overtime, you're going to play the last 2 without Windley at Dixon.
Not real good.
And they still pull it out. Jake Brock has been playing great, really shooting the ball well, only a sophomore. 5 threes in that game, 20 points for the night.
Well, and you mentioned Dixon was up 2-0, and then he comes out and hit 3 in a row. 3 threes in a row. Boom, boom, boom. So, yeah.
Pretty amazing what they're doing.
And I know you were going to – the thing about it that was cool about this also is they lost every stat line except shooting percentage. Their shooting percentage – I think one quarter they shot 80%, I think I saw. I mean, it's nuts.
Shooting covers up so many ills.
A lot of things. Yeah.
It really does. So, everybody talks about what great shooters Dickson County. In their own gym, 9 for 25. That Brentwood length sort of makes you back up an extra step. Brentwood, 10 for 20.
10 for 20.
50% from three is pretty solid.
They lost the turnover battle. They took 14 less shots. I think they got out-rebounded. There you go. But they won shooting percentage by a lot.
Okay, I'm going to put your math skills to the test.
Oh, no. I'm a little stopped.
Because I like the three.
Yes.
They go 10 for 20 from three. What would they have to go from two to match that point total?
Well, that's 60. They'd have to go 30. Right?
So
They'd have to go, right?
So it's 30 points.
Yeah.
10 threes is 30
so they'd have
points.
to go 15 for
15 for 20.
20.
So the three, man.
Three ball.
If you've got the guys to do it, you have to take advantage of that. You know who took advantage of the three, I think, the quick now I'm on my three soapbox? Rick Pitino.
Yes, he did.
He had a team at Kentucky that was really undersized, not as talented. They shot a ton of threes. Makes a difference, man, when you hit those threes.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, great job, Brentwood. Congratulations. Our WCTV game of the week, it was quite a thriller. Ravenwood 54, Franklin 52. Our play of the week was actually as the game was coming to a close. So let's take a look at that.
Let's see.
Here we go, 6.5 seconds to go. Mulder at the inbound. Gainer dribbling through traffic into Pollard, off the backboard.
Oh my goodness.
And Miles Pollard has won the game. And
right there, that is off before the buzzer.
I think
Plenty
we
of time.
had, I think we had about 2 seconds remaining.
What a play. I need you to put your coaching hat on, though. Is that the way it was drawn up?
The only reason I can answer this question is I talked to Coach Tigert and Coach Whitlock after the game. It was not the way it was drawn up. I think Ravenwood was prepared for maybe Franklin to be in man. They came out in zone, but it was kind of a busted play. Great play by Pollard, though, to pick it up and lay it in.
Oh, man, clutch.
And that's a huge win for Ravenwood. And I think they've been in this situation a couple times, and Coach Whitlock would admit this. They've had, because they've got, 7 wins, even though they're playing well. Mm-hmm. They've had a couple of times that if they lose this game, maybe it's really heading the wrong direction. They get a big win, which I think will keep them interested the rest of the way. And you got to give Coach Whitlock and that coaching staff, Coach Hooper and those guys out there for keeping that team engaged. And they are.
Yeah.
They're definitely engaged.
Well, and the thing that I think you would say this. Dang had 15, Gainer had 12, Pollard had 11, Mulder had 10.
4 guys in double figures.
That's their recipe to win.
And you score 54 points.
They don't have somebody that's going to go off for 44. That has to happen for them to win, right?
Most nights you see 4 guys in double figures, you've scored like 80.
Right.
Not 54.
Yeah, right.
Because if they all have 10, that's 40. There's
That's
only
right.
14 points left. So, yeah, that is definitely the recipe. I got
The
this.
math skills are on today.
Listen, we are in WCS. It's about curriculum and testing and ability to do things like
Quick thinking.
simple math, right?
That's right.
You don't want to know my ACT score, though. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's not the average in the
It was
county.
good enough.
You mentioned Nick Dang.
You got into the same school
Yeah,
that
that's right.
Patino brought all those merit scholars into.
Jamal Mashburn and
Yeah,
I.
there you go,
Yes.
there you go.
So Nick Dang, he's a guy, you mentioned him. I think he, even though Gainer, obviously, is the
Yeah,
guy you
love
think
him.
about, but I'm telling you, to me, their key is Dang.
By the way, I've been on my WMAA kick. I like to bring in a WMAA
Yes.
nugget. I've been going to quite a few of those games. Woodland, went and saw Woodland Grassland. Great game.
Coached by the legend, Mike Lynn.
The legend, the Dennis King protege, Mike Lynn. There's another Gainer coming. He's good.
Can shoot it, I'm sure.
Oh, he can fill it up. He can dribble too.
Franklin, again, they came off that loss against Brentwood on Tuesday, 51-48, tough game. They've lost 6 of 8. Again, they're still playing well. Maybe they've had a little bit of a letdown these past few. Talked to Coach Tigert about that a little bit. And in their games that they've lost, they tend to not shoot the three well. The game against Page, I'm telling you, is a huge
game.
Huge game. They lose that game, Page all of a sudden is 4-6 in the league. Franklin would go to, what would we say, 5-5, 5-6. But it may be a situation where Franklin goes, we got to pick it up a little bit.
I think it's there now, And
I didn't want to put that much pressure on him.
Well, I think he'd say that. Yeah, I mean, Now, I wouldn't hit the panic button,
No.
but
Well, it's the tournament still. It's going to be fine.
that's right. They've proven they can beat anybody, but they've also proven these tight games. That's how close it is. And Page is on a 2-game win streak, 3-game win streak.
In the league, yep.
And you've been saying it. I'm telling you, they're right there. They're right there. And they've got some guys that can score points too. So yeah, it's a big game. You don't in the boys' side. I don't think you want to be 6th, 7th, 8th.
No, and confidence is a very tricky thing.
Yes.
Because you win those close games like Brentwood has been doing, and Franklin had been doing. You start losing those, maybe it takes a little chink out of your armor. And look at Page; they've lost a ton of district games close, but then they win the last 2.
That's right.
So now all of a sudden their confidence is going to be high going into that game.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be a great game at Franklin.
And they're telling them the same thing you've been saying. Hey guys, we're right there. Keep doing what we're doing. We're going to start picking them off. Coming into tournament time, we're going to be playing our best basketball. And now that here they are, Coach. Guys, what have I been telling you? So you piggyback a Franklin win on top of that. You're exactly right.
Speaking of Page, 64, Independence 48. It was a closer game earlier than that. Page pulled away in the fourth quarter. Blaine Burrow 22, Mason Allen 15, Jamie Hernandez 12. They also won on Tuesday night at Centennial.
Yeah.
Won one of those close games, 52-50. Now, next 3 games for Page, these are big. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to go.
Big.
I don't think I'm going out on a limb, but they go to Franklin, to Dixon, to Brentwood.
Wow.
I don't know if I want to totally predict this, but why not? I mean, folks at Page would love this.
Let's go.
I think they're winning 2 of those 3.
Wow, that's big. You willing to put a little?
No, not putting any money on
a
it.
little
Not
Chop
lunch,
House lunch
not
on it.
lunch.
Pueblo Real.
Well, maybe some chips.
Queso.
We'll take chips and water.
I like it. Let's go.
So big time. Now, Independence had that big win over Ravenwood on Tuesday, but just couldn't quite cash it in with the win at Page on Friday. I expected that to be really a little bit tighter game, even though it was fairly close throughout. But I expected that to be down to the last second. But give Page credit, they played well.
For sure. And I tell you what, I'm going to go out on a limb.
Oh.
If they're at Franklin, Dixon, and Brentwood, that means the ladies are there too.
Yes.
I'm going to say the ladies win at least 2 of them.
Well, let's see. That's probably a pretty solid prediction, right?
Well,
Going out on a
that
limb
Dixon-Page game could
going
be
out
good.
on a limb would have been sweep with the girls. I mean, they've lost 1 game in the
I
district.
think Brentwood's playing at a high level, man.
But I'm saying going out on a limb.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of being
Okay.
facetious.
Summit, not even worth the time of talking about it, really. 32-point win over Spring Hill. Spring Hill, as I like to refer to on the boys' side, the get well game.
Yes, for sure. And I did not know this, and I'm upset about it. The tough Dixon County loss to obviously a great Dixon County team. Keaton Wade didn't play.
That's right.
It makes a big
It
difference.
makes. I think head-to-head, if they played late, I'll say this. I think if Summit, Dixon play full strength, Summit wins 7 out of 10.
I agree.
The matchup is good for them.
I agree.
Anyway, all right, let's talk. We don't want to forget our AA teams, Fairview and Nolensville. Fairview girls, 2 big district wins last week over Lewis County and Camden. 10-10 overall, but more importantly, 7-2 in the league, 2nd in the district behind Creekwood. Give it to them. And I also say this, in that Camden win, which was 42-39, sophomore, right?
Yep.
Anastasia Byerly leads the team, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks. Riley Dillingham and Casey Mullins with 8 each, and the team was 11 for 15 from the line. They've only got 2 seniors. It's not over after this year.
No, this is great. We're getting ready to
Love
go on
it.
a run. Yep. Hard work paying off.
On the boys' side, Fairview boys, also district wins over Lewis County and Camden. Unfortunately, Lock Horde, who is really probably 1B behind Eads for them, is out for the rest of the year, but they still get 2 wins. 7-2, again, right behind Creekwood in league play. Versus Camden, sophomore Kennedy Pendergrass stepped up with 19 points and 8 rebounds. So great job of him. And then the big three right now, at least replacing Horde, is Eads, Wooten, and now Huddleston stepped up as seniors for Fairview. So great job by Coach McCoy.
Yeah, they're getting better. Had to replace a lot. They're getting better. They're going to be a tough out in the tournament.
Nolensville girls, 3-0 last week with district wins over Community and Forest and a non-district win over Hillwood, 15-4, 4-0 in the league, ranked number 8 in the state. And oh, by the way, Parker Leftwich gets her 1,000th career point. Pretty good week for the Lady Knights.
Lady Knights are going to Murfreesboro.
3 girls teams.
Glass house.
We're definitely going to get 2. I'm going to say 3.
The house that Lewis Bivens built. Look that up. I know you know.
How about Grace Baird? 21 points with 7 threes versus Forest, and they had 4 in double figures. Also, Zoe Pillar, big game as always, Cayman Ladd with 11 points that particular night.
Coach Ladd's daughter playing well.
She better play well, coach's kid.
They're going. They're going. They're going.
Nolensville boys, Coach DeGaulle and the team. And again, once they got in league play, we knew this would happen. 2-1 during the week. They had wins over Forest and Hillwood. They did lose to state-ranked Community on the road, 56-44. Only down 3 early in the fourth quarter in that game. So Nolensville, it's not like they got blown out by Community. That's a team I think they can beat later in the year.
Yeah, and Community's good. I was
Very
looking
good.
at the statistical leaders. Tell me how often this happens. And I can't remember the young man's name. I'm going to look it up. He's leading the mid-state in rebounding and steals. You ever seen that?
No. Wonder if the Community folks are padding the stats.
They might be. Very possible.
Like, the tackle assist, like.
I have never seen this. Never seen this. They are, do you know what their mascot is? The boys' mascot?
I feel like it'd be like a Chamber of Commerce.
The
looking
Vikings.
thing. Oh,
I've never seen this. What do you think the girls' mascot is?
I do not know.
Lady Vikings, right? Nope. The Vi-Queens. Promise you. Never seen it anywhere else.
I feel like that's.
I don't even know if that's. I got to get with Justin Lamb to find out if that's a word.
That's got to be the tidbit of the week, man.
That was strong, huh? It says home of the Vikings and Vi-Queens.
Unbelievable. I feel like there's nothing else to talk to about it.
Top that.
Let me get this in, though, just real quick. The Knights, Marshall County, and Giles County this week. Those are huge games. The boys 3-1 in district play. I'm expecting a couple of wins. Coach DeGaulle doing a great job out there. And they love to shoot the 3.
They love to throw. They love to shoot the 3. Hey, let me tell you something. Marshall County and Giles County. Coach DeGaulle doesn't know this, but he needs to find out. Those are 2 very big games to Dr. Qualls. Need to come home 2-0 out of that one.
Wow.
Very big.
I'm sure that'll be important to him when I tell him.
Needs to be.
All right, look, I know I do this every week. Pick a game or 2 out there that.
Well, I think you know which one I'm thinking. Are we talking, you want to go girls' side
Whatever
or
you wanna
boys'
do.
side first? Well, if you're looking Tuesday night, I think Summit Centennial is very, I think that one's very interesting to me. How far have we come with Summit? Centennial took that tough loss to Page. They had been right up there. So I think that's a really, really big game for both of them, right? And then when you sit there and you look at the girls' side, I think when you get to the Fairview-Waverly game, Nolensville, Giles County, those are big for both of them. What do you like?
Page-Dixon County girls
Page Dixon.
on Friday night. Obviously, our WCTV game of the week.
I take that
Centennial
back. I don't think
Independence.
Page Dixon girls is. I think Page runs them. Girls
Wow,
runs them.
interesting. Coach Bronk, no pressure. Tate,
Pressure don't get to Coach
no,
Brown.
he's not worried about it. Tate, as always, great to see you. We need like some kind of handshake with some floating.
Hey, can you just, Lance, could we get like some fireworks coming up from that when we do it?
One more time. And then you got it, yeah. That'll be the last time for that, I'm sure. We appreciate you being here and for watching. We'll see you next time on Sports Connection.